Hello everyone, Brendan McCauley here with the Theology of the Body Institute. I just want to say in this video, we're going to talk about a pretty delicate and sensitive topic. We're going to talk about this concept, sexual orientation. And in this video, I want to make it clear, I just want to give an objective answer to the meaning of this term, this concept, sexual orientation, and where it came from. So before we get into this definition, this concept, sexual orientation, I first want to define the word sexuality or sexual or sex, because I think we've lost the definition of this word. It comes from the Latin words seco or secare. I don't know any of you Latin speakers, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Seco, secare. It means to cut or to divide or difference. And so the body is only sexual as male and female in light of the difference between the two. And we see that this difference is ordered to one another. The male body is ordered to the female body, and the female body is ordered to the male body. And so whenever the Catholic Church says that same-sex unions or same-sex attraction is an objective or intrinsic disorder, we first have to look at the word disorder. What does that mean? It means to lack the order of. So what the church is saying is that male to male and female to female lacks the order of the sexual body. What the church is not saying is that the person is disordered, but the church will say our attractions are not our core identity. We cannot identify who we are with an attraction. Our deepest identity is that we're male and female in the image and likeness of God, that we are beloved sons and beloved daughters of the Father. That is our core identity. So I just want to make that clear before we talk about this term, sexual orientation. Now let's talk about this term, sexual orientation. It came from a man in Germany, Karl Ulrich, in the late 1800s. Karl Ulrich had same-sex attraction, and he wanted to make same-sex unions legalized. So he went to the government and he tried to propose that same-sex unions are legalized, and he used this concept, he invented it, sexual orientation, to argue for this. And so what he said is sexual orientation is like an umbrella that underneath has two categories, heterosexual and homosexual, and they're equal to one another, they're interchangeable. And so sexual orientation is the key concept to argue for gay marriage. And now I want to talk about this article that my professor, Dr. David Crawford, wrote to shed light onto what's actually really going on here. The article is called Gay Marriage, Public Reason, and the Common Good. He says this: the debate over gay marriage is not about, in fact, cannot possibly be about, the narrow question of the extension of neutral rights to a newly categorized small minority. So he's first saying, when we are arguing about gay marriage, what he's saying is it's not about extending rights to a small minority. Okay, then what's it about? He says, this is what's it about. Rather, the debate and its central concepts, orientation, homosexuality, and heterosexuality, seek to explain not just the sexuality of a minority, but sexuality for everyone. So what he's saying is actually the debate more deeply is about the very meaning of the word sexuality. He goes on to say this: if an individual happens to be attracted to someone of the opposite sex, male to female, female to male, according to the concept's logic, it is not because of the natural correlation of man and woman and the natural ordination of their union to the child, but because he or she happens to be heterosexual rather than homosexual. Okay, this part's really important because this new concept, sexual orientation, which in our culture and society is kind of the umbrella that all orientations are under. What he's saying is within this concept, all orientations are natureless. In other words, the body is meaningless to moral actions and to even attraction. So what he says is if a man and a woman are attracted to one another, it doesn't really have to do with the fact that I'm a man and they're a woman. It's simply an orientation, which is to say, whatever I'm oriented to or attracted to, the body is meaningless to that. So that's where we're at in our redefinition of the word sexuality. He goes on to say this lastly: sexual orientation means that all marriage all marriages, is conceived according to the logic of gay marriage. Gayness, in fact, becomes the more fundamental and defining basis for understanding not only sexuality as a whole, but more profoundly what it is to be a person. And so what he's saying is gay marriage, the argument of should there be gay marriage or should there not be, is not an argument about extending rights to a person. It's about defining the term sexuality. It's about defining what the meaning of the body is, the meaning of the sexual difference, and ultimately what it means to be a person. And what he's saying is his proposal of kind of the problem, and I would agree with him, is that heterosexuality and even marriage between a man and woman is now under this umbrella sexual orientation, which is already, in quote, a gay term, which is to say the body, its sexual difference, is meaningless to moral action. The body is meaningless to attraction. And that's where we're at in this redefinition. That's where we're at with this concept, sexual orientation. And so I just wanted to share that with you to maybe get you thinking about kind of the larger implications of this. And so if you've enjoyed this video, I just want to invite you to share it with any of your family or friends that may find it interesting. I invite you to subscribe to our channel. That way you'll be updated with everything we're doing at the Theology of the Body Institute. I hope to see you soon. God bless.